In this presentation, I'm going to show you how to navigate through the BouncED digital learning platform. Some of the key features of BouncED is that it provides a simple, easy to use planning and scheduling tool which will help save teachers time in their planning and in their preparation. You'll also find that BouncED allows you to customize learning for the whole of class, small groups and also for individuals. The convenience of BouncED is it only uses one login and one password to access the core digital learning programs and all the work that has been tasked by the teachers. Another key feature of BouncED is the statistics page, and this will help give the principal and the administrator an insight into how frequently the different digital learning programs are being used, how they're being assigned by the teachers, and how frequently they're being used by the students. They will also include statistics via the URL facility for any other program that the school has subscribed and that is not included with the BouncED package. So for example, if the school is using Mathletics or Reading Eggs, you'll be able to get a breakdown as to how frequently it's being used, who is assigning it, and whether it's all representing good value for money. We'll now explore BouncED. This is the landing page for BouncED, where the teacher or the student would use one login and one password to access the digital learning resources. Now that we're logged in, this is the teacher's planning and scheduling page. We'll now navigate around the screen. We're at the on-off button, teacher settings, and one of the most helpful buttons is this one here with the question mark on it. It will highlight the different action buttons on the screen. These would be the ability to clone activities and move them from one week to another. We have the delete button if we need to delete an activity that we have set. We can track student activity and view the last time that they were logged in. We can add an activity to either an individual or a group of students or just one student by themselves. We have the teacher resource button located here, and we have our list of students under these categories. This is the year group for Miss Harris, and you'll notice that there are currently 4 groups attached in there, and there are different colors. This will indicate that we have students in those particular groups. The location here is where we want to add a particular class group, and this section down here is the list of students in the groups or in the class, and this key here will unlock and give me all of the information related to those students. To view how we are able to utilize the help, we click on one of the areas highlighted, and this will open up a YouTube video.
In this video, we'll look at adding activities to the timetable. We start by clicking the Add Activity icon.
To close the YouTube videos, simply click Close. To close all the help icons, close Help. And to turn help on at any time, use the question mark key. I'm now going to show you the screen that appears for a teacher that has administrator rights. I can see all of the teachers and their students and all of the groups and ultimately all of the activities that they have planned. As the administrator, I go to the Administrator button. This now opens up the window that shows me statistics, how to manage students, how to manage the teachers, and how to manage classes. The statistics page is quite helpful. It shows me when students and teachers have logged in during the last 7 days. It also shows me the use of the resources. And one of the advantages that I see here is it will tell me how many times each of the particular resources have been utilized, either at school or during homework. In this instance, it is showing me that URL in school has been used 42% of the time. It would also show to me that ZooWiz has been used 25% of the time. So what this is now representing, it tells me whether the different programs that we have subscribed to are actually representing good value for money. Are they being used by the students? Are they being used by the teachers? I click on this button to manage the students. I'll have a list of all the students in the school. I'll have their years, which I can sort. I'll have their usernames, password, and their last activity. I add a new student by entering their current details. I'm not required to put in a date of birth, but I can filter by their year, the particular year group, and I can select one class, or if they're in extension classes or another class for music, for example, I could click that as well, and that student is now added to both of those classes. I'm able to manage my teachers. I can add new teachers by completing the current details. I also give them a role as the teacher, which would only give them a view that we saw in the first instance of just one teacher and their students. When I select Manage Teachers, the full list of my teachers are there, their usernames and their contact details. I can easily add a new teacher by completing this table. I can also assign the rights as either a teacher or a teacher and administrator, or as a principal. Depending on the level of access determines what they see on the screen. The administrator can see everything as well as the principal. I can also manage the classes. I look at the class groups that we have. I can easily add a new class, putting in the details and clicking Add. To close down the administration button, just click the notepad at the top of the screen. So let's now navigate around the BouncED screen. Using Miss Harris as the example, we see the full list of her classes in this area at the bottom of the screen. When I slide this down, all of her students are listed. We will notice also that some of the students have a coloured disc next to their names. This indicates the different subgroups that they've been added to. So for example, Dylan DeRossi has orange and yellow, which means that he's a member of Honeybees as well as the Happy Dolphins. When I click on the group Happy Dolphins, this will display the members of that particular group. I can delete a student from that group by clicking the minus button. I can easily add a new class group or create one by clicking on plus sign. I choose the students that are going into that particular group, assign a name, select a colour, click Add, and now we see that Flying Dragons has been added to this class group. If I click on this key button, this displays all of the names of the students in the class, their usernames, the password, and the last time that they were active on the platform. If a student has been assigned a password that they don't like or might seem inappropriate, for example with Tara, and her password is cow, what we would do here is highlight it, click reset, and that will come through with a new password that might be suitable for her or easy for her to remember. I click the close button, I click on the add activity button, use a drop down list, choose a lesson. I've got a choice. If I don't change this, it will assign to all of the students in the class, or I could just choose specifically on a group. I now enter the subject and a description for the activity for the students. Once I've assigned a subject and description, I enter a start date and time. For this activity, we're going to choose ZooWiz. I click on Preview. This takes me to my teacher landing page. I choose to set work. I'll use custom content. I find my class. We click a new activity. I choose the curriculum I want, I could use NAPLAN, but we are with Year 2, so we're going to stay with the Australian curriculum. Mathematics, Year 2, number and algebra, number and place value, of which there are 828 activities. I'll expand that further. We'll choose the learning outcome 26, of which there are 54 activities, and I can choose the number of activities for the children to complete. In this instance, I'm going to make them do 25. I check that box for that activity, telling me resources and number for the student. Give it a name. Click Save. We will drag that box across. All of that activity has been added. So sitting here for all of these students now is the activities that they're going to have when they open up their ZooWiz. So we close out of this, press select, ZooWiz is now added, click create, and now it's added into the schedule. We will now go and have a look at this activity from the student's point of view. This is now the dashboard for the student, for Jacob. This is the activity that we have just added. You'll notice I've got a star next to it, which will indicate that the work hasn't been done yet. I click on the ZooWiz, click on Play Now. I'm now logged in. I choose the Learn and Earn. The activity I was asked to complete was the number and place value. You can see that we've got other activities here. Place value 2. The game commences. I would complete that work and click OK to finish. So now we're going to log out. I click on my icon. This takes me back to the screen to show me that my activity has been completed, and there's a tick next to it. From this point, we're going to go back to the view as a teacher and check the student activity tracker. The student activity tracker is a great feature. When we click on it, it shows us the activities that the students have completed. In this instance, we were looking at Jacob From. It shows me that he's completed the ZooWiz. He's actually opened it twice on these dates, and he's done this work. For other activities that would be structured, we would see other entries across the top. From this point, we just close, brings us back to the main screen, and we can then make decisions to add further activities or view the work of other students. That concludes the introductory presentation of how to navigate the BouncED portal. We hope this has been of value to assist you in demonstrating the ease of use of how the BouncED portal can be used to schedule and assign tasks from a variety of sources. We encourage you to explore BouncED by using the Help button to learn more regarding the portal and its many features. Other videos in this series will help you understand how to use the various digital learning packages to enhance the learning for your students.